Hi everyone, it's MiGHTYMAX from Team Endpoint, and today I'll be showing you how to play Vertigo like a pro. So on T side for B, there's many ways you can throw utility. I'll be showing you some of the best ways that the pros will throw utility. So for the generator smoke, typically you'll smoke left and right. So on the right side, you crouch by this box, aim at this line, stand up, and throw. So the reason you throw this one is that it's actually a bit better. It prevents the CTs from standing on here and seeing. I'll do a quick comparison with the regular smoke that people seem to throw, which looks a little something like this. As you can see, this guy can see over the smoke. So that's why you threw that smoke. For the left generator smoke, this is what I throw a lot on B executes for my team. So I stand against this pillar, pull my smoke out. I aim just to the right of this rectangle here, like so, and I'll throw this. And I'll pair this up occasionally with a catwalk molly here. I'd say with this shadow here and jump throw. So it's a quick piece of like a combo utility that you can throw. The left generator and a Molotov here. Alternatively, you can throw the smoke and back up to here. And I do a jump forward bind. And this will Molotov quad. So this is like a good combination to have every time that you're going B, and obviously you can listen to your face it, your pugs, whatever, or in a more team environment as well. You can obviously coordinate these nades a little bit better. Another cool trick you can do from B stairs when you're scaling up onto the site is if you get a quick entry on B stairs, you can Molotov the window like so against the railing on this dot here and jump through. This prevents any CT rotations from coming in. Obviously they have to come around through the CT spawn rather than going through the window. So the other combination of utility from B is the generator smoke, right side generator, plus a Molotov which you aim between the wood and the beam here. So this Molotov lands by default, and the smoke again is the right gen smoke that's slightly better so that the CTs can't see over the top of it. So as a mid player on Vertigo, there's really two things you can do to support your teammates if they're scaling B or executing B or looking to go B. First thing is a window Molotov. So the way that I know how to do this, I'll line up the wall here with this little box like so. Then this one is tricky because when I'm at tournament PCs, it's always a bit different, but there's a slight line here on the brick. You may have to change your video settings to get it more consistent. But I aim on this line here and I just throw the Molotov, and it lands like so. So it should fully burn the window. They can't play at the back. They can't even play on the sandbag in mid. So that's the Molotov. And the other thing are support flashes. So after Molotoving, you can come here against this wall, and where this line is with these dots here, I aim just in the middle of it like so, and I jump through flashbangs like so. So these flashes will actually land right above this beam here, and they act like entry flashes. So when your teammates are running up, the flashes land above this beam here so they don't get blind, and anyone playing towards default or generator or window looking to help B is going to be blind. So these are some great flashes. The other flashes that you can throw are these ones that I think G2 first coined, or maybe it was ENCE on Vertigo, but what they do is you stand on this wooden railing here at the back, put your crosshair just slightly off center of this beam, and then throw. So the reason why these flashes are so powerful is that when your teammates are on the B stairs, as they're scaling up on the stairs, the flashes land behind this beam, and obviously the CTs have to take a flash to the face, or they've got to turn it, or they're going to be killed by your teammates, right? So from a CT point of view, bearing in mind the flash lands up here, if they're playing default, they have to tank the flash. If they're playing on the catwalk here, trying to peek the stairs, then again, they're going to be hitting this flash. If they're by the wood here, crouching, again, flash gets them. So you get the idea. It's a really strong flash, and I think it's something that mid players should know how to support from closer to mid with these entry flashes, as well as these support flashes from back here. When it comes to A ramp, there's obviously many pieces of utility. Some of the main ones is this lurk smoke on the A ramp. The way that I throw this, I run across the bridge, aim at the shadow, and then throw like so. The reason why you throw this smoke as a T is it denies a lot of vision from the CTs when they're peeking crane. When they're peeking ramp, they have to sort of stand out in exposed angles and they can be spammed. So this is a key piece of utility, this lurk smoke. The second key piece of utility is a way of doing a retake flash. Now the way that I like to do this is I stand at the back of the lobby here. I aim in the middle of this line here, and I use my double click throw bind. So like so, and you can follow it by path into the box, and this should blind any AWP on gap, any AWP on ramp, any riflers, etc. And it should even blind close here on the pipes down here if they're in like a aggressive setup on A. So this is like a must-have flash if you're retaking A, or even when you're just playing towards A and you know the CT is spamming down the ramp, they're throwing molotovs, etc. This is a really handy flash to have. The other thing to think about when you're playing A, there's a lot of ways to counter what the CTs do. So for example, a lot of pro players and teams will throw this deep yellow smoke on CT. So what you can actually do is pair the lurk smoke on the ramp, like so, with a break on the CT smoke, right? So the way I like to do this is from this corner, and I put my grenade in this wood pallet here, and then I just double click. And what this will do is land underneath the yellow here, but it will actually blow away the smoke, and I'll show a better example here. So when you have your lurk smoke up on the ramp, you can give the CTs a full sense of security, and they will walk out gap or come down into yellow, and you can blow the smoke open, and your teammates can be holding gap with an AWP, for example. So it's a really cool piece of utility that you can abuse on CS2 because of the dynamic smokes. So as you progress up the A ramp, again, the utility you can throw here is quite diverse. You can throw utility for execute, for map control, or for gap control here. I'll show you some of the common piece of utility. Obviously, the left side smoke for default is still the same. Like so, aim here on the yellow, jump through. Smoking the right side of site, again, on this mini ramp here. I like to aim just off from this red square here. This is always a pretty good smoke for me. Like so. So these are the regular smokes. Sort of one of the new sort of evolving metas is this deep smoke that lands in the CT elevators, or connector as I call it. It's something that I saw Big Clan do actually. So what they will do is you stand on this side of the sandbag where there's a shadow here on the yellow. I go across at the bottom of it, like here, across to there's like a dark patch here on the beam, and I jump through this smoke. Now this smoke will land deep in connector, meaning that when you're going up A site, you don't have to worry about this side of the connector, and it's fully smoked, right? So it makes it a bit nicer sometimes to go up, knowing that, for example, you can throw this smoke and pair it quite quickly with a Molotov on headshot. And then all of a sudden, you have all of this space to play with, and now your AWPer can come up and lock deep CT in heaven, right? So it's a bit of a nicer util that I think some teams decide to throw, and it's worth knowing in teams or in your pugs, etc., because it will catch your CTs off guard as well, because they always kind of expect a regular execute with left and right smokes. From inside yellow, you can do a lot of utility for gap control. My favorite is standing against this beam here, and then Molotoving like so, and then you can actually flash yourself gap by aiming at this circle, and then there's a one-man take for gap here with the Molotov and the flash that the CT has to push into or turn away from. The alternative way of smoking connector typically is that you stand quite exposed here on the ramp, and you aim above the beam to sort of the height of this block here, right? So this is what it looks like normally with a headshot molly, like so. So there's another one-man utility combo that you can throw for A site. So this involves a connector smoke, a heaven molly, and support flashes for your team. So the way you want to do this is stand on this side of the sandbag. For the smoke, you want to walk, jump through. So I aim at the middle of this line here, walk, jump through. Now the smoke lands in connector, like so. After throwing the smoke, you pull your molly out, aim at this line here next to the shadow, and do a jump forward through. Now this molly will land like so. So it burns above heaven and below heaven. And then with the flashes, what you can do is after you've done the Molotov, you come here, aim at this line, and jump through. What is the flash? That's not the flash. Okay, 1 second. Aha, that's the flash. We have to edit this together, make it look coherent, because that was not good. So after you've done the smoke and the Molotov, the way that you should flash, again, same position. I go down from this beam to the line. As you can see on the projector, it comes here. So you go down from this to here, jump through. And then the way that this flash works is your team would scale up the ramp like so, and as it flies through the air, it lands behind the beam, right? So you can kind of wide peek and carry on running as your teammates throwing, 1 or 2 flashbangs. So altogether, it should look like this: smoke, Molotov, flash, flash. So it's like a one-man execute that you can run in your pugs or in your team, which is kind of cool. So on the CT side, I often find myself playing the rotation on CT side. So I find myself in the elevators here, or connector as I like to call it. The way that I prefer to do this, I play based on the utility I have. If I have utility, I like to play a bit more passive. For example, if I have a Molotov that I'm not using towards A, then I like to play quite passive either on this side of connector, or I might play CT spawn just to mix it up so that they don't always know where I am, right? When I have utility, I like to play with that in mind, so that if they come out middle, I know that I can deny the threat threat of a B split purely from util, right? So if they come out middle and I see them and they wide swing me, I can fall back and block the window here and take more, or obviously the molly goes in window, but you get the idea. I can take more passive angles where they have to overcommit wider rather than, for example, holding like so. And then in CS2, there's quite a big peeker advantage that when they wide swing the corner, I'm going to be stuck in no man's land and they're probably going to kill me. So that's how I like to think about things. But in terms of some setups that you can do, there's many things you can do for mid. You can play aggressive with setups, or you can play more passive and try and do like a bait and switch setup or a crossfire. So if I'm playing alone, the main thing I would say is play with utility in mind. If I have a full set of utility, I wouldn't really play like an all-in position like sandbags, or I wouldn't be walking up mid with a full utility set. But if I have no utility, then for sure I could be playing behind the sandbag or on this angle, or maybe a slight off angle above it, or some pros actually like playing this off angle here. These are all really good angles to catch the T's off guard, especially here because you can see shadow when they walk out. Same here, if they're not careful you can catch their shadow when you're playing off angles. Typically I find that T's are more aware of the aggressive positions. They're going to spend more time clearing out these angles and up here and all this stuff, whereas when it comes into the CT side of mid, definitely catch them off guard because there's too many angles to clear, and it depends as well if they're using utility to clear them or not. If they're trying to go dry, then you have a better chance of catching them off guard with an off angle, obviously. With a teammate, some things you can try, depending on how fast you're rotating to mid, is this boost here. So what you want to do is get a teammate to crouch here, and you get on his head and you boost, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So if your teammate's underneath you, you have this nice little off angle here into ladder room as well as close middle. So as the T's are walking out, it's a quick kill and you can get away instantly. So this boost is really handy to have in a team or in your facets or whatever. Really handy to have. So you can take this concept of a two-man setup and apply it to this box here as well, except here normally what you have is one person playing here and then the other player playing underneath him like so. When the T's come to peak mid, they have two angles to play with, right? And they're probably going to die if they walk out like this. So as a rotational player, as a B player, mid player, whoever, something that you could find yourself in is that you rotate yourself over to A because there's a lot of A pressure and the T's are taking the ramp. So one thing, an really easy combo that you can throw is this smoke here, paired with a Molotov that I'll show. Standing against this headshot box, you aim right here on the metal, throw smoke, aim down, aim here, jump through, Molotov. Now this smoke will bloom all of yellow, so your teammates can re-aggress. And then obviously the Molotov here pushes the T's forward or pushes them back down the ramp. Now again, there's many things you can do with this. You can throw this combination and throw a support flash like so for your teammates to peek the crane side. You can do this combination and flash gap. You know what I mean? You get the idea. It's a really strong way that a lot of the top teams are retake gap control, ramp control, or even the sandbag control to an extent, because this smoke blocks everything here and the Molotov divides the T's either in front or behind. Really handy nades to know on CT side is how to block the A plant, because typically a lot of players will try and plant in this default position, and it's really easy to nade from connector and from heaven, so I'll show you that. So from connector here, easiest way to Molotov if you're not smoked off connector is in front of the barrel, aim right here on the beam, run forward, run through. And the same works with a HE nade in this lineup. So you come here, run through. If you are smoked off, let's say the T's do a deep take, it's really handy to know a different lineup, and I'll show you that as well. So you're smoked off, you come into the door, you aim between this line and this line here, like so, line up, run forward, molly, go back, run forward and nade. Again, really simple to deny this plant and get a lot of damage and potentially even kill the planter. The same can be said for heaven. You can do exactly the same. There's many different ways of doing this. The way that I do it, I aim up from this yellow to this yellow here for the nade. Boom. This one is not as consistent with a Molotov because it depends on the utility that they throw. For example, if they throw a right side smoke, there's a high chance that this Molotov doesn't work. But what I found is that you can actually throw a Molotov from over this side. So I get stuck against this yellow, aim here, I do one step, and it burns everything here. So just in case they throw weird A smokes, it's always handy to have different lineups. But the nade is definitely useful, and the combo here pretty much always works. So it's really handy to know to deny the plant. Extra retake util is good to know is that from this position here, you can smoke a retake smoke. So what I like to do is I get in the corner here, and after nading, etc., you come and save your smoke. I aim right here on this black line, on the red line as well. and throw the smoke. So the smoke bounces over the site like so. It should fully cover the bomb. Yep. And it also gives you a chance to jump up and cover your teammate. If the enemies are playing a post plant towards gap, for example, your teammate can tap the bomb and you can play covered by smoke and hold gap. Meanwhile, your other teammates can come round the side like so. So again, I'll show that. Lock in the corner, the red line meets the black line, throw this. And again, there's regular flashes that you can throw to get your teams out of connector. So for example, you can aim here, throw a flash. You can also Molotov sandbags like so. A lot of utility you can throw from these areas. It's just depending on if you're going to block the plant or if you're going to play for the retake. Hopefully this all helps. So something is a cool play that you can run on CT sides is when you play 3 or 4 guys towards A, you can set up like a delayed ramp take, I like to call it, where you fake that you're playing almost a default. So you can smoke yellow at the start of the round. Your teammates can go to sandbags and gap. And then if you're the 3rd guy here, or the 4th guy, depending on how many people you have, what you can do is set up a delayed ramp take by not showing any pressure. You invite the T's up, they throw their lurk smoke, they come up the ramp, you know, they're mollying, trying to clear out the ramp. And then what you can do from default on the site is you aim here, walk forward, jump throw, on the crane, stand here, molly, flash. Obviously you wait for their smoke to fade before you molly. But for the purpose of this, the smoke lands all the way down here and covers ramp. The molly would look like this. And then again, your teammate from sandbag could flash, or you can bounce flash off the crane. I'll show you the sandbag flash real quick. Crouch behind the sandbag, aim here, jump forward through. So your teammate from sandbag could throw this flash for you if you're doing the smoke and the molly. And then what will happen is as you run to here, the flash pops, boom, the ramp is fully covered with the smoke. So late round on CT sides, it's pretty hard to defend A with low utility. But one thing that a lot of pro players will do is they jiggle peek, which has its pros and cons. But for example, your A player will jiggle peek the front of site and your gap player will jiggle peek here. The reason for this is so that they can get info with a low chance of dying. And also it gives them a window to then block the route that they're trying to take, right? So imagine I'm jiggle peeking gap and they start to do nades, or they try to peek me, but I see them first, or I can instantly block like this, and now they're stuck for sort of 10 seconds or so. The same goes for the front of A site. Now this is a little scary when they have an AWP, but typically you would jiggle peek, and the second that they start throwing nades or showing that, you know, you see their shadows at the back here on this railing, you can instantly just underhand a smoke. And then for a T advancing onto the site, this smoke's very annoying because you can be anywhere. You can be on this side of it, you could be jumping up onto the default box, peeking over it, you could be holding the jump up of the box so that when the T's come through, they might try and jump over and jump on top of the site and you're holding them. It's very annoying to play against, especially when you're trying to execute and doing a left and a right execute with the smokes like so. And then you also have this smoke to deal with. It's just a very nasty situation for the T's to be in, and it can also be handy to save utility for CT without using it for no reason. So it's a very strong setup. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this content, obviously like and subscribe. If you want to see new ideas and new nades and new maps, please comment below what you want to see, and I'll help you get better at CSGO.